Hi, Nick Pinkerton from Pain Free, that's me here, and I'm coming to you today from the Sunshine Coast in Queensland, Australia. What I want to share with you today is an opportunity to join with us to break through what is becoming an ever burgeoning chronic epidemic worldwide. This epidemic is now costing Australians more than $55 billion a year, and it's the same epidemic that recently cost more than $2.5 billion in parts alone. That's the metal plates, the screws and the rods that were used in disc operations in the US. What I'd like to do is give you some framework as to why Gary and I think we can make a difference with this chronic epidemic. This epidemic is all to do with a culture and perception around pain. The culture and perception around pain, as Gary and I see it, is flawed. People have bought into the fact they're broken. They've turned up to practitioners of all different types and modalities, and those practitioners have offered tangible evidence such as MRIs, X-rays, and other scans that suggest they to buy into the notion that they are broken. And therefore, because they're broken, there's no solution available. The best option they've got is to manage their problem, and that leaves them suffering with a badge of honor on their sleeve that says, I'm a chronic pain sufferer. Gary has more than 30 years experience professionally, and personally myself, I have more than 20 years of experience from a personal level. We understand that that culture and perception around pain is flawed. Gary and I have built a business that is operating successfully now and is illuminating a path for people towards becoming pain-free. This business is a suite of products, and we're inviting you on an opportunity to consider these and what benefit you may be able to impart on people towards taking your people on this same path. The process that we use is a free 1-hour workshop. We then take people from that free 1-hour workshop into a full 1-day seminar. The process on the other side of that is a 30-day online program. And at the other side of the 30-day online program, we continue to maintain and look after our people with a recurring monthly membership site. The reason we do this is we care that people get pain-free now, but we also care that they stay pain-free into the future wherever possible. As I said, the framework that we take people on in terms of the journey starts with a free 1-hour workshop. That is not necessarily a prerequisite to how we can introduce your people to our business and our concepts, but for demonstration, I'll show you what we go through in that free 1-hour workshop right now. So this is what we call the 7 simple, easy, do-it-yourself steps towards becoming pain-free. Before I do, I'll just introduce or just give you a little bit of background about Gary Little. Gary Little is the founder of Pain Free, that's me. Gary is an acclaimed author. Gary wrote a book called Shattering the Pain Myth, and he's an international pain and injury expert who's got more than 30 years of experience in this area. Over those 30 years, Gary has worked with and around people the caliber of Leighton Hewitt, Ian Thorpe, and Andre Agassi. So that's Gary's background. It's Gary's background and experience that's enabled Gary to put these 7 steps together that have given people a path towards becoming pain-free. The first of the 7 steps we teach people is they need to acknowledge that the system's not working. As I mentioned before, in Australia alone, the chronic pain industry is an epidemic now costing more than $55 billion a year. That's more than heart disease, diabetes, and cancer combined. It's an epidemic of huge proportion. And one of the reasons we have such a big epidemic leads us to the second of the 7 steps. And that is people don't ask the right quality questions. People have been indoctrinated to present to their practitioner of whatever modality, whether they be a chiro, physio, a myotherapist, a Pilates instructor, or a massage therapist. Whatever practitioner they are, whatever modality they have, people have been indoctrinated to turn up and present with a symptom. The practitioner acknowledges the symptom and then tells people you've got this problem because of tight muscles, for argument's sake. People don't then ask of their practitioner, well, why have I got tight muscles? And the practitioner may then say, well, you've got tight muscles because of blah, blah. Okay, well, why do I have blah, blah? And this is a problem. If people learn to ask better questions, and we always recommend people ask 3 questions of their practitioner: why, and why. And when you ask the 3rd why, it becomes apparent that your practitioner is struggling to identify the root cause of the problem. He's just dealing with what you've presented as the symptom of the problem. That leads us on to the 3rd step. And the 3rd step, which we believe is really important to people getting on that path to becoming pain-free, is an accurate diagnosis of the root cause. Gary shares with our people in this 1-hour event, he shares a story about Mark Philippoussis, a professional tennis player. Mark had a knee reconstruction and he was out of the game for about 8 or 9 months. He came back, and in his first tournament back, the injury flared up again and he presented with swelling in his knee. Gary was working at the tournament that Mark played in, and he was asked by somebody to come and look at Mark and see if he can't fix Mark's knee. When Gary turned up and asked of Mark, what's wrong with your knee, Mark was frustrated, understandably, and he said, no one effing knows. Gary was able to have a look at Mark's condition, and what he realised, quite alarmingly, was that Mark had a knot in his hamstring above the knee. Now, this knot would have been there. It would have been the original cause of Mark's problem before Mark was even operated on. Here's an elite level professional athlete who's had an injury worth millions of dollars a year curtailed by a knee problem. He's had a reconstruction, he's had a major rehabilitation program, he's turned back up on the circuit, and no one diagnosed the problem. No one went to the root cause, they just addressed the symptom. And there's Mark having to deal with that all over again. So an accurate diagnosis is crucial in terms of people taking the appropriate steps to getting pain-free. The 4th step, and it stems on from this accurate diagnosis, is getting a better awareness of your physical body. What Gary and I do with our people in our workshops and all of our programs is we get people in touch with where their stress patterns are. As I keep saying, Gary's 30 years of experience working with elite professional athletes, as well as Olympians of all disciplines and everyday people, has taught him that there are only a handful of common stress patterns that keep reoccurring regardless of where the symptoms show up. What does that mean? That means if people present with neck and shoulder pain, Gary's experience has taught him that more often than not, that's not where the root cause of the problem is. That's where the symptom is manifesting itself as pain, but the root cause lay elsewhere. So we make people aware of these by showing them where their emotionally induced stress patterns are, and this greater level of physical awareness enables these people to understand their physical body better. The next step we try and teach them is that they need to align themselves with nature's principles, and this is where we start to introduce a concept of energy. Basically, pain is due to constriction or restriction of flow. Energy is not getting through certain parts because muscles have become tight, and this is why neck and shoulder pain may often be a symptom of something that is elsewhere. The cause of it may well be in someone's arms, for argument's sake. As with lower back, that may be where the symptom's presenting itself, but the cause of that problem could be somewhere in their quads or their hips. So it's a restriction between these areas where these stress patterns are manifesting themselves, and it's through treatment of those and aligning yourselves with nature's principles of energy and flow that enables people to break through these problems. This brings us on to the 6th step, and this is what is the most exciting thing. We've seen some amazing results, we've got some amazing testimonials, and I'll read some of those in a moment. But what these testimonials have given us proof of is that we're putting people back in the driver's seat. People are able to take control back from their own pain because they're getting better awareness of their physical body. They're understanding that they've been treating a symptom, not a cause, and the symptom and the cause may be on opposite sides of where the blockage or the constriction is. And so this is the powerful stuff about what we're teaching that's enabling people to take control back. From my own personal experience, a little under a year ago, I was spending about $350 to $400 a month in out-of-pocket expenses. I had a chiropractic appointment once a month. I was alternating that with a myotherapy appointment for some dry needling once a month. I was having flexibility classes. I was attending core strength and stability classes. And I was getting a remedial massage once a fortnight. This was costing me between $350 and $400 a month, as I said. Since being introduced to Gary's techniques and programs, I now have zero spend, zero monthly spend, no time wasted, no money expensed. I'm using Gary's techniques and tools for as little as 5 minutes a day. I'm doing them upon myself in the comfort of my own home. It has me in the driver's seat of my own issues, my own pain, my own problems. I've taken control back, and this is what we're trying to impart on people. This leads us to the 7th step. To stay in control, to stay in the driver's seat, we need to become aware of the fact that we've got to master our mindset and we've got to look after our own emotional well-being. And it's at the conclusion of our free 1-hour workshop that we start to introduce people to these concepts so that people can then start to realize, as we move them into the full 1-day seminar event, they start to realize that becoming more self-aware of their body and understanding how to use the techniques we teach them and the tools that we give them so that they can use those techniques on themselves will have maximum impact on them. It's at this stage we introduce the notion of emotional stress and what role emotional stress plays in their physical pain. Gary and I use an analogy at this stage that if you imagine a cup, and the cup just has a little layer of emotional stress sitting at the bottom of it, but you go and do a physical activity which stresses the body, and that physical stress layers itself on top of that emotional stress, within the context of that cup, that's not going to cause any problems. But if you were to go and do that same level of physical stress on a cup that was already layered with about that much emotional stress, that physical stress on top may well cause that cup to overflow, and that'll manifest itself in a situation of pain. And it's an understanding of this. It's an understanding of the emotional levels of stress people are walking around with, unbeknownst to themselves, and what role that's playing in their physical pain. That is where Gary and I see people have their greatest levels of breakthrough. Once we've introduced this concept of emotional stress, we start to explore the relationship between energy and emotional stress. And this relationship leads us into the 30-day online program. In the 30-day online program, we take our people through a process where they learn to become aware of their emotions. They learn to unblock those emotions, and they learn to release the emotional stress that's been built up as a result of holding on to those. At the conclusion of that 30-day online program, people are then free to go back into their own processes and their own roles in life. But we offer them a membership site where they are then on a recurring monthly membership arrangement. And we've found this really, really useful in helping people stay aligned and focused on what their original purpose was, and making sure they stay committed to their original process and task, which was to get pain-free and stay pain-free into the future. So this is the framework through which we look after people. As I said before, you've come to this video for one of two reasons. Either someone has spoken directly with us and they want to learn more about our story and how they can help, or you have been referred to this video by someone who believes that it could be a benefit to you and your people. And we'd love to invite you to get in touch with us on the next part of the journey, where we'll answer any questions you have. If you've got questions about how we can continue this journey, how we can work together, what cross-marketing opportunities or affiliate situations we may have, please feel free to get in touch with us, and we'll be only too pleased to answer those. We'd love to get around a table. We're on a mission. We want to get people onto a path of pain-free and illuminate a path for them that can keep them pain-free into the future. You can contact me directly in Australia on my cell phone or mobile phone, 0400 474414, or email nick@nickpinkerton.com.au, or alternatively feel free to email gary@painfree, that's me, .com. So we'd love to hear from you. We'd love to share more of our story. But before we do, I'll just read one or two testimonials from people that have come to join us on the program. This is a testimonial from Darren. Darren said, excuse me, I'll just put that back to where we were. Darren said, The self-therapy procedure is extremely rewarding, and it's a massive awakening and introduction to taking control of my life and starting to manage my pain. I am now at a stage where I can recognise precise areas of muscle tissue which treats the pain coming from non-related areas of the body. We've also got a testimonial here from Gillian Bennett. Gillian says, I'm now in my late 50s. I've been taking pills for pain, resisting pain, running away from pain for a very long time. A couple of years ago, I was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. This results in pain all over my body, varying in location and intensity on a daily basis. I met Gary and completed his Pain-Free That's Me workshop. I didn't ever think I would have this feeling of abundant energy ever again. I was always so tired. Battling chronic pain became exhausting. Writing this testimonial, I feel bouncy, and I haven't felt this way for many years. I sincerely and wholeheartedly recommend Gary's Pain-Free That's Me workshop and techniques if you're looking for a way to get on top of your pain. And one last one from Kevin Oliver here on the Sunshine Coast, or up here in Queensland. Gary's teachings 100% showed me that my problems were not what I thought they were, but they were more emotional. I am now pain-free. I have no back pain, no shoulder pain, no neck pain. What's changed? Is my spine still out of alignment? Probably. Am I still overweight? Yes, but I'm still working on that. The answer is though, and always has been, that my pain was created by my own emotional issues. I am very clear now on what those issues are. They are private to me and they'll remain that way. But the best thing is they no longer have any hold on me. I am free. Thank you, Gary. Your teachings are amazing and I cannot recommend your program enough. So we hope that is of interest to you. We hope those testimonials resonate with you. We'd love to help some people that you care about. Please reach out and get in touch and we'll discuss ways in which we can do that. Thank you for your time.